Welcome everybody to another episode of Haunted Vermont. My name is Paul Dosky, and joining me is the lovely Tessa Baker.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello, baby, and ghosty and ghost and witch and whatever else in between, I guess.
Anyways, so basically, we're here to give our thoughts on the Thaw. Paul has been itching to get my opinion on this short
I've been
horror.
trying to get somebody else to join me on this. I didn't just want to talk to myself about this. This fantastic short horror film based on the Vermont legend of the Vermont Frozen folks. So it'd be nice to get somebody else's opinion, especially since I have had the pleasure to talk with all three actors and actresses that played a part in this lovely tale. And the only people I would have left really to interview, you could say, would be Rennie or Sid the Sheep, and basically the writers and directors. Really, that's all that would be left for episodes for this. But anyway, yeah, we'll try to do our best to dive in, and I apologize for our daughter. She just seems to be up and about, and especially listening to her tablet in the background. So if that's distracting, you can just turn it off right now because that's going to be hard to edit out. So I apologize. Right now, where to begin? Tessa, so let's just, maybe it would just be better off with you to start it because, like I just said, I have had the pleasure to talk with the three actors and actresses, basically, the three people that acted in it is what I should say. And, I kind of got to hear their opinions on it, of how things were, this and that, what their thoughts on of what happened, this and that. So it kind of coincides with how I first have watched it. But then after, talking to them, rewatching it again for the fourth time, it's to kind of start to fall into place of, everything. So I'm curious to know, in this case, for your perspective, since this is obviously your first time, what did you think of it? Especially with, the legend of the Vermont Frozen folk.
So I watched the Thaw for the first time today. So I completely just went into it blind, open mind, and everything, and how the daughter came back home to her parents because she was unable to, from what I gathered, she was unable to land a man because she was unable to bear him children. So she ended up having to come back home to her parents in the dead of winter, and you see the parents down in the I want to say the basement or whatever, talking about their food rations and how much food they have and how they don't have enough to split between the three of them for the winter. So I was like, oh boy. So how are they gonna do this? So apparently the mother had this book that I'm guessing was passed down to her from her mother and down from generations that contained concoctions. And one of the concoctions in this book is a sleeping draft, I'm assuming. And the mother helps the daughter fix it. They make it together, and then she has to give the sleeping draft to both of her parents because that's what they decided, that they were going to go down and sleep until spring. That way the daughter would have enough food to hopefully get to spring, that she would have a chance. So both the parents take this sleeping draft, and I imagine that it probably was horrid tasting and everything, and probably it looks like it caused some kind of physical distress to both the parents, because you could see the mother like labored breathing, struggling to breathe and everything, and the dad falling over as they're trying to make their way out to these coffins that the father had built out of wood outside in the snow. So she gets her parents into these coffins so that they can go to sleep for the winter. And one of the things that the father had said to the daughter before they drank the tea was, if you have to slaughter the sheep, then do it to survive. And she's like, well, that's my friend and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully I won't have to do that. We'll talk about the sheep more later. I have some thoughts about what happens. So she starts to go through, and she gets up the next day, or I don't even think she sleeps the first night that her parents went into the coffins. I don't even think she slept at all, to be honest. So she's checking them in the morning to make sure that they both have a heartbeat and that they're not dead, which that's just scary. And then she starts going through each day and preparing her meals and rationing her meals out and everything. And the only company that she has is her pet sheep, which she sings to and everything. And I don't know however many nights went by or how long it was, but one night she hears something outside, and she goes out to investigate, and you see off in the background behind her that her father is not in his, I'm just going to say, for lack of better wording, his sleepy by coffin. And the mother is still in hers, and obviously still playing Sleeping Beauty in that. So she goes off to try to find her dad, and where she finds her dad is eating her pet sheep. And the first thing that went through my mind when I saw this was, oh my God, the poor sheep. And you literally could tell that the thing is still alive as the dad is eating him. And that's just horrific. And that poor girl's probably scarred forever. So right then and there, something went horribly, horribly wrong with the sleeping draft, with the dad specifically. Either he wasn't given enough or something happened. I don't know what. So he's awake now, and apparently he's starving. So he's basically gorging himself on anything and everything that the daughter puts in front of him, gets irritable and mean to her about it, saying that he's starving, needs more food, blah, blah, blah. And then the daughter has to wake the mother up. And the mother wakes up, but she seems more normal than the dad. Like, it's totally different between their two demeanors. Like right off the bat that something went horribly wrong with the dad. So he gets increasingly irritable, and at one point starts to show signs of wanting to be physically violent towards the daughter, because he can't seem to get enough to eat, and he's really upset about the fact that he's awake during winter, and it hasn't even gotten to the spring thaw season yet, and that both the parents are basically awake now, and they're not supposed to be. So at one point, we see the daughter trying to fend off her crazed father with an axe because she wasn't able to give another man children, but he was able to find a wife with another woman that would give him children. And because of the fact that the daughter couldn't land a man to secure money for her family so that they wouldn't be having to resort to putting the parents to sleep for the winter or worrying about food rationing and stuff like that. He basically is like, you're useless. What good are you? You know, just belittling and degrading the daughter like so horribly. And she's basically trying to keep him at bay with an axe because she's afraid for her life that her father would actually go to the extremes of physically hurting her, or her ending up like the sheep, I imagine. Rip sheep. So he starts to go through convulsions right in front of the daughter and starts vomiting up what I think is blood, I think, and then just dies right there in the snow, right at the daughter's feet. Hi, baby. Hi, honey. Hi, baby. So then the mother comes out and she's in hysterics and everything because her husband just basically dropped dead. Hi, baby. Hi, honey. And then basically they had to do like something that's similar to I guess, a funeral pyre for the dad. And then that's where they end it. So I'm wondering, Paul, what do you think happened with the dad's like sleeping draft? Why do you think that he was the only one that woke up wrong?
So my initial thought was technically it was probably because there wasn't enough tea, like he kind of said, like you made it wrong, some like blah 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 blah. But also, which I'm rewatching for the fourth time now to do this, I can definitely see the shot that, you know, the people that I talked with, like Jeffrey, Emily, and Toby now, where they're talking about the shot where it looked like it's starting to thaw as for the weather. And so could the weather have taken the effect of waking them early, not the tea? So maybe the tea was actually made right, but it was actually the weather becoming warmer, which caused it to basically, you know, think it's springtime. So what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because there was still snow on the ground and everything, and like I'm trying to figure out like how it was like quote unquote getting warmer when there's
Well,
still
look at the shots of like almost look like the snow was dripping, almost like a way of saying it's getting warmer. Like, you know, it was dripping from the roof and stuff like that.
yeah, like off the icicles. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that could have factored into it, or the daughter maybe didn't give the dad enough tea and the mother got the right dosage and the dad didn't. I mean, I don't know, but like those are some serious side effects from him not getting the right dosage. Like his first instinct is to get up and like kill the poor sheep and eat it. Like,
Well, that's starvation for you, I guess. I mean, like you were saying before, like how long were they in those wooden coffins, you could say, before they woke up, accidentally woke up, and so he must have been starving because how did Toby put it when I was talking to Toby put it as, well, she kind of had more meat. She had more cushion, is how she worded it, than Tiffany. So Alma, his character, or Toby's character, Alma, had more cushion than Jeffrey's character, who was Tiffany. Basically, is how she put it. Maybe that's another factor of why he woke up early too, and was more crazy starving as well. Because another way you can look at it for it from what Toby said, and I just want to remind people that are maybe listening, which again, I apologize for our daughter's tablet in the background and stuff like that, but I just wanted to still do this and stuff. But look at it like this. So we're talking 19th century. The women aren't really doing that much labor work per se. Like they're not using a lot of muscle. Usually, it's the male, right, providing for their family, basically in this case. Whereas the women are mainly not really as physical. So maybe the fact that because of the fact that they're not or she's not physically uh physically there, like doing a lot, she able to conserve energy more, whereas Tiffany is trying to provide for the family, whether it be chopping wood, etc., doing the stuff that we would do to provide our family, basically. So his energy would be used up more. So that's another, I guess, way you could look at it. And that again, and I said this with everybody that I talk to. Like the imagination is such a great tool. Of you can think of one way, and it could very well be a different way, but it's just the imagination of storytelling. It doesn't completely give you the answer, but you still have that imagination of, well, maybe it could have happened this way. But as for the sheep, I kind of thought the same thing. Like, why the sheep? And it's just like, well, she woke up early, and poor Rennie was right there. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I guess survival instincts kicked in, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I guess that's the way I would.
I mean that's the only way that I could look at it. But still, poor Remy.
Yeah, exactly. Poor Rennie. Yeah, you said you were also saying how the father was gorging himself and stuff. Again, that's just another way of saying he again, we talked about this too. I think it was Toby and I, and Jeffrey. I think Jeffrey too as well. Where we were talking basically about if you actually go back and really pay close attention, which again, like the amazingness of the forced time playing through is basically is basically Toby's character Alma. She had the bath, which is supposed to be the last part of the quote witch roll of basically bringing somebody back in springtime, which is the bath, which is the warm bath. And
and it had herbs and stuff in it.
Correct. But only the mother had the bath. The father did not. So maybe that's another factor in of why the father basically was so.
Well, he woke up. He woke up the wrong way. He wasn't. He was supposed to be brought back with the bath, not wake up on his own.
Right, but I mean, but he still didn't get that bath.
Yeah,
he still didn't have the bath.
Well, I'm guessing because the daughter, he was already awake, so the daughter didn't think that he even needed it because he was already awake. I'm guessing.
Or could it be the fact that you were kind of putting it, his demeanor was way off. So I don't even think he would have listened anyway. Hey, you need to take a bath, blah 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 blah. I don't think he would have listened as well, because I mean, even the mother was trying to hide from the father because, well, the demeanor changed in him. So I mean,
Even she knew something was wrong.
yeah, even she knew that he wasn't acting right. He was more angered about it because he thinks that she was trying to kill her own mother, which she wasn't. But I mean, it's just one of those things where, well, maybe what if he had the bath would I have calmed him down, whereas Toby's character had the bath to make her sort of come out of it. So again, that it's one of those things where it's like imagination. It's like, well, what happened? Like, what did he just besides the fact that he woke up early, I mean, eventually so did Toby, but or Alma in this case, like for character views or names. But I mean, like, at least she was calm enough to take the bath, whereas Tiffany, well, he, like you were saying, gorging himself with food. Speaking of gorging himself, babe, what did you think of him gorging his food, like with the potato, the stew and stuff? What did you think of those scenes?
I I really couldn't like get over the fact that he literally was like he was so it was like he was so starved that it was like his hunger could not be sated by anything. Like he just kept eating and eating and eating, and even snatching the food off of his daughter's plate and eating her food and everything. It was just like he had like this endless hunger, like a bottomless stomach, and no matter how much he ate, he just couldn't fill himself up.
Which I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because when Jeffrey and I were talking about that scene, especially when he dunked his head into the stew, so that was all him. That was like he asked to do it before the take happened, and they didn't let Emily know. So though, like that reaction there when he like plunges his head in to slurp the soup and stuff like that was all him. Like that was all him, and that was Emily's reaction to it, basically, all in one take. And as for the potato bit, when he grabbed it and bit a huge chunk out of it, he pretty much was saying that he does not recommend that to do that in real life, because you might choke on the potato. So, so, so that was all improvised by Jeffrey. So that basically says and shows the creativity of the directors to allow their actors to basically play with the scene to see if they could, make it much more weirder, darker, scarier, whatever you want to call it, than what was probably initially in the script.
It was definitely an interesting take on the tale of the frozen people. Like know I didn't even know about this tale until Paul mentioned it to me. Like I didn't know anything about it until he was like, "Oh, did you know that such a legend like this exists? You know, the frozen people." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And then he proceeded to tell me that there was a movie about it, like a short horror film about it. So before before he even told me, I didn't even know that there was ever any mention of it. So it's interesting for sure.
What do you think of the daughter? Like as far as Emily's acting for the daughter.
I thought she did a great job, to be honest. Like she was very convincing. Like even her fear, her distress, her despair, just all of it was just very convincing, and her character just drew you in. And I felt for her, with having to give her parents a sleeping draft, you know, and she blamed herself for having to do it because she wasn't able to land a husband. So she essentially had to
Go back home. Yeah.
go back home to her parents, which then caused her parents to have to make a difficult decision to essentially sacrifice themselves, so to speak, and have them sleep until winter, which, like I said before, Paul told me about it. I thought that, only most animals that hibernate during the winter could do that. I didn't know people could do that without food, just basically sleep without food. But I guess you learn something new every day.
That's right. Uh, and for anybody else, yeah, there's a book on it too. Sort of like the oldest book that sort of mentioned this is "Winter in Vermont" by Charles Crane. That's like the oldest book that actually mentions about the Vermont frozen folk. In the end, what did you think of the film in general? Because of it being black and white, and it's also in the old way, like it's not full screen, it's not really widescreen, it's the old-fashioned way of watching like a movie or TV.
I actually enjoyed it. If anything, it made me focus on the screen more. Like I like movies like that. It's not like bam, like use all like sorts of colors and stuff to like draw you in. You know, I've always liked black and white uh, films, and the fact that they chose to take this film in a black and white direction, pretty much classic mode, um, and the era, like the time period that they chose to go with, as kind of like, I don't know if I want to say Puritan age or whatever is the right wording, but overall I enjoyed the film. Like I said, the only thing that really like pulled at my heartstrings was the poor sheep. But other than that, I mean, it was really good. I thought everybody did a great job acting, and everybody's characters were interesting and unique in their own ways, and I felt everybody did an excellent job.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed watching it. I thought everybody was believable in their roles. Um, the fact that the directors Sean and Sarah and the writers Sean and Sarah, they allowed that creative freedom to let the actors like do what they thought would be awesome to do. Like I mentioned, Jeffrey's character Tiffany, who basically wanted to try out these few particular scenes, and they left him in for the final result. Like him, grabbing the potato out of the daughter's hand or Emily's hand, literally biting a chunk off just to say how much he was basically a glutton. And same with when he put his whole head into the soup to slurp it all up. Like that was all Jeffrey's idea. Like Emily, when that was going on, I guess Emily had no idea that was going to happen. and they went with it, and she reacted right on the spot to do like one take with some of that. So the fact that they were able to continue with that and Emily not missing a beat, I think that's very fantastic. And if you haven't watched this already, I myself would say you need to check this out. Even if it at least sparks interest to look up more of the legend itself.
Yeah, because you can find it on YouTube. It's like easily accessible on YouTube. You don't have to pay anything for it. You can literally just search it, find it, and watch it. And it's definitely worth the watch because, like Paul
Yeah,
said, it's an interesting take on the folklore of the frozen people.
right. And I guess with that being said, you know, Tessa, thank you so much for your time to talk with me a little bit about this. I mean, I just wanted to do that because, like I said, I haven't really had a chance to really make this sort of episode to sort of just have an opinion on this like this with somebody else. So, thank you for allowing that and our daughter, I guess, to sort of let us do it. Yeah,
Yeah, sort of let us do it, even though she kind of chimed in and was giving her input, which is fine. You know, she's she's doing Amara things,
yep,
and
exactly.
yeah, and
Being
yeah,
a child.
it was nice to it was nice to chat about it. I know it's been a bit since we've actually sat down and talked about a movie or folklore or anything of that nature, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, that's it for now. I mean, if you made it this far, then I'm glad that you did. And if you have not checked out the interview that I had the pleasure of talking with both actresses and actor, you guys can also go back and check out those interviews as well. I chatted with Emily Bennett, Jeffrey Grover, and Toby Poser. All great people to talk with. That had a really fun time making this short horror film with Sean and Sarah, and hopefully we can get Sean and Sarah on board to discuss the writing and direction process of this to help bring the legend of the Vermont frozen folks to life. And until next time, people, just keep your eyes open because you just never know what you might come across in the Green Mountain state of Vermont.